Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I talk about it. This week's game is Silent Hill, The Short Message. It was released in 2024, and it's a single-player survival horror game in first person, developed by Hexadrive and published by Konami Digital Entertainment Incorporated. That's a long title. Also, there'll be spoilers up ahead, but first a little backstory. So I watched a YouTuber called Gav Smolders, and she was playing this game, early access, and she told in that video while she was playing that it was free to download. This is like a promo game for another bigger game coming up, I suppose. So once I heard about that it was free to download, I went down and I downloaded from the PS5 store. So before I do anything, I need to explain something that's very important. This game is about depression and suicide, so if you're suffering from either depression or suicidal thoughts, don't be afraid to reach out. It's a more common thing these days. So as I said before, this game is currently on the PSN store for free, and it's sort of like what PT did to the Silent Hill franchise before. I believe this game will lead up to something bigger. So the main character, Anita, gets a text from her deceased friend called Maya, and right off the bat that's kind of strange, but that's a trope in other Silent Hill games, I guess. James was looking for something in Silent Hill in the second game, and I believe he also got a letter from his deceased wife. I'm not sure how Silent Hill works, but that seemed to be the general theme here. So the game really starts out with a negative monologue from the main character about not sticking to a group, and I don't agree with this at all, but you kind of learn about her story as you play the game and why she is like this. So you wake up in a foggy space and you use the light on your phone to look around in first person, as I said before, and I found an old newspaper. So this game takes place in Kettenberg or Kettenstad, which is a place in Germany, I believe, and this town or this place has gone really downhill. They bring up things and events that happen in real life, like COVID and depression and all this stuff and unemployed people, and there was this building project that went nowhere and there were funds, and a whole complicated story of like telling what really happened to this place and why things are the way they are. So the whole reason why Anita is here is because of Maya. She goes to these abandoned buildings and she finds graffiti on a wall, and the graffiti was made by Maya herself. She had this project that she was working on, and she finds a wall with a huge painting of cherry blossom and a woman, and that cuts to an FMV, like a full motion video. And the weird thing about the FMV stuff, it's live action film, but it was made in Japanese, so everything is dubbed over with English, so the lip syncing doesn't really add up in the end. But it's an interesting take on not using like an engine to render out a cutscene, but just using full FMV. It's a very rare thing to see these days in games. So right after the FMV plays, you get a text message from a friend of yours called Amelia, and you talk forward and backward about mental health. And then you enter a room full of negative messages written on post-it notes all over. And there is like a bedside with some negative news about child abuse, and there's also, beside the bed table, there's some antidepressants. And the main character, Anita, remarks on this. And it's kind of like some deep stuff going through this. That leading to a bathroom that is full, like a bathtub full of blood, and you find a razor on this the sink. So I don't know what this game really, why the Silent Hill really does this to people, like reliving all their bad memories. But Anita is out of there, who wouldn't, right? So then Amelia texts her again, and they talk about Anita's mental health. So apparently Anita hasn't gone to her psychiatrist because she doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, and maybe it's hinted that she doesn't take her antidepressants, but I don't know at this point. It's kind of a dark path that this game leads down to. And after this segment, you get chased by a flower monster, like a cherry blossom monster. And after the chase, you get a text from Maya saying that she wants to meet up with you in the studio. So later you find out more notes about suicide and what happened in this place, and then another FMV flashback plays when you view more art on the wall, and then you get to explore a balcony with some foggy surroundings. And this is where it kind of clicked to me that this is Silent Hill. They had some fog in the beginning, but since you're inside all the time in this apartment building, you don't really see, you can see out of the windows and stuff, but this is the real time it clicked with me that this is really just Silent Hill because the fog and everything. It's something about that aesthetic that I just like. And then there is some more texting with Amelia forward and back, and another FMV cuts in with Maya, and more strange dialogue with Maya, and more art. So this is like the thing. Something happens, you get text messages, you go forward and backwards. So it's not very exciting to talk about, I guess. But you get like this scene where Anita compares herself to Maya, and she's not as good as Maya with the art that she does. And she has this online presence and stuff, and there's a lot of pressure and bullying on her, not being as creative. And it's like a depression thing where if you want to succeed as an artist, it's really hard work, but she's taking it really hard herself. And then Amelia realizes that Maya is dead, and she calls up Anita and tells her that Maya is dead, which is not a shocker for Amelia because this happened a long time ago. And then there's another chase sequence, and I realized this. If you die in a chase sequence, you have to start from the beginning of it. There's no like penalty to it whatsoever. But yeah, this leads to leading up to a roof section where you get chased, and you basically step up the roof, and you die, I guess. And then you're back at the beginning, and you get a text from Maya again on your phone, which is really weird. She tells you to find her. Where do you find her? There's no clue at all. You just go around the place and explore. And then you find more of Maya's art vandalized. And at this point, the flashlight on your phone dies. The battery dies. The whole phone dies. And you're surrounded by mannequins, which was super scary. You're looking at Maya's art, right? And you turn around, there are all these angry mannequins looking at you. They don't do anything, but it's psychological. And then there's some more texting and some more Maya flashbacks. And after a while, you walk through a door and you end up in a school-like corridor where you are bullied by the shadowy figures. And then there is another chase sequence and leads to another FMV. And then you're back in the school hall again where you need to solve a puzzle. So on the walls, there are these numbers that have different colors. And there's like a workbench or like a school bench in the middle of the room which spells out loser, and all the letters have different colors. So you just take the numbers matching the colors and you get like a combination lock open to your own locker. And then you figure out that the brutal truth that you basically find Maya's suicide note in your locker. So apparently there was this rivalry between the three individuals, or more or less from Anita's point of view. So she wanted to have Maya for herself, but Amelia spent more time with Maya. There's some jealousy going on there as well. And that leads to another chase sequence where I died over and over again. And even the main character says like, this needs to stop. And I was like, yeah, I think I've seen enough where this game has to offer. I watched a little bit on YouTube as well. There is some disturbing things that happens in the end revolving a refrigerator, and I will not say more. It's kind of disturbing, but I'll think it ended with this. So gameplay. Go through Anita's journey and figure out what happened. Control, the circle button goes back in the menu. The X button interacts with things. The left stick moves Anita around. The right stick is camera. And in the options, you can switch the Y-axis to up and down if you like, reverse. And the R3 button zooms and the start button pauses. Graphics. So the game actually looks really good. It's just what I imagined Silent Hill to look like. So they nailed the atmosphere and everything. Sound and music. Akira Yamaoka made the soundtrack for this game, and he's been on the other Silent Hill games as well, making the music. And I can't say much about the music because I wasn't focusing on it. I was focusing on everything else, but it builds up the atmosphere as well. And there's this thing with Silent... I mean, it's the same thing with other horror games. The music kind of adds to the horror effect, so every time I was super tense, so I guess the music helped in that department. Easter eggs, secrets, and glitches. I watched Jim Stephanie Sterling do a YouTube video about this game, and let's just say that everything that was said in that video was super harsh and critical, but it was all correctly done. So I kind of spoiled the game a bit for me this week by watching this video, but I can highly recommend it because it's like all this trash talk and everything. It is like, I think he even said like this is like the discount version of PT and all of that. And some of the characters are kind of, I didn't talk about it, but the voice acting for Anita's mom is terrible. Just yelling, and it's like all over the place. I don't know. So in conclusion, I wrote no. play another survival horror game. So I guess I had very high expectations on this game going into it. It looked good, it sounded good, but it wasn't really what I expected. So this game felt like a tech demo, like PT was. I mean, like a vehicle for something bigger. So this little game wanted me to get the next Silent Hill game instead. I was kind of disappointed. So in the end, I just wanted to make one more remark. So this game, I know this game is fictional and everything, and I'm not a psychiatrist at all, but I felt like if the main character Anita talked to her friends and her psychiatrist and took her medicine, just expressed what she felt, this game might not have happened and people might have been in a very much better position and better place. But it's Silent Hill, right? So it has to be weird and disturbing and everything. It's not this type of psychology about suicide and stuff. It's like it felt very unnecessary to like sort of dig into it. It's like I know that, as I said, like Silent Hill is supposed to be disturbing, but this game felt too real. You know, it's made me depressed, made me sad. I was like, I don't want to play a game that makes me sad. So yeah, I can't recommend this game. Play something else. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.